for all the people out there who all they've been saying for the past several weeks is this league is run by Dallas Allen and Jordan Robles, and that's the only people to talk about. What do you have to say? What do you got for them?
I think it's just good to it's good to be able to say that there, it's not all gone. After last year, there was definitely I got some DMs and I heard some talks about maybe like the Preds era was over, the Ryan Kracht era was coming to an end.
Hey, welcome back to Fade the Mahoney, everybody. We're doing week 11 preview. We are past the halfway point finally. Buy jerseys, everybody. Ryan Kracht, nice enough to join us again. He was with us a few weeks ago for a recap episode that Trevor didn't want to be on. So we got him back for a preview Preds versus Magic. It's almost like you're getting a bye in the middle of the season. So that's nice for you guys. Thanks for coming back, Ryan.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me here.
All right. Trevor, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. I want to read off some numbers from our season preview from the betting extravaganza. Are you ready?
Sure.
Ryan, feel free to comment whenever you'd like.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We'll start off with team wins. Predators had the lowest team win total at 5.5. Trevor stated the Preds won't win a series all year, and he's taking the under. Any comments?
I mean, it's pretty obvious to tell somebody just didn't do his homework. So it is what it is. I understand where he was coming from at the time, but obviously things have changed.
I just got poker action. I forgot that didn't close out my tables. Hold on 1 second. I'll comment on that in a second. I deserve all the roasting that I could potentially get for this. My thought at the time, and I said it at the time, was, you guys have been in the league for a long time, and I discounted the fact that you would put the work in to adjust and all that, and you're in baseball and there's things going on
right.
So when I was thinking of the comparison and the draft pick and all that stuff, obviously there's a lot going on with that too. And I was thinking the comparison, you have the Eagles that are all these young kids that are they were my shining example of they're hungry, they're
Mm-hmm.
You guys proved me wrong. You went out and did the work, and that's on me. That's it. You guys you did it.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, ready for next number?
Yeah.
Trevor, in Trevor's Sportsbook, he listed 11 people for the MVP. You were the 11th person listed at 35-1 odds.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's bold. You're saying there's 10 other people over me for MVP?
Not right now, at the beginning of the season.
Right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can list them. I can list them if you want.
Yeah. I want to hear a few of them.
Okay. Knorp, Saylor, Kyle Schultz, Drew Davis, Dirty Schultz, Jordan Robles, Chris Cheatham, Trevor, my guy Bonham, Dallas Allen, some guy named Chidwick, and then you. So those are the people listed above you.
I won't name drop any guys in the league. I love everybody in the league, but that's definitely a bold statement for sure. A very bold take. Like I said, I won't name drop anybody, but there was definitely some people that when I heard that name, I just felt a little disrespected right there. So, but it's just more fuel. It's just more gas to the fire.
I mean, it had to fit the narrative of what I was projecting for the season. Obviously, your MVP odds would be long if I expect you guys to win less. I didn't expect you to win a series at all, during the season. Then obviously the MVP odds would probably.
I get that part.
Listen, I don't mind admitting that I was completely wrong. I got the Gators right. I'm happy about that. I was right on one side of the coin, but yeah, I mean. The first two series have really, especially the Wildcat series, obviously that first series, you guys played well in it and everything, but then to come out and the way that you guys handled the Wildcats, really can just make me shut up.
Right. Good.
Yeah. And then now, like, obviously, I adjust going forward, obviously, with we'll get into this matchup with the Magic. Whereas before the season started, I didn't expect you guys to be favorites in any of the series. Now I think most of the series that you guys have remaining, obviously you have the Eagles still to play at the end of the season. That's probably, depending on where both teams are at that point, that's going to be much closer of a line than I would have anticipated going into the season. But I certainly have you as pretty big favorites in this series coming up against the Magic.
Gotcha.
All right, should we move on to the Cy Young numbers?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, might as well get it all in.
This one isn't as nearly as insulting as the other one. He listed 11. Okay. He listed 11 players, and you were 7th behind Knorp, Schultz.
There's 8 teams in the league, and I was listening to this. So who was I listed behind? Go ahead.
Knorp, 2 Schultzes, Bonham. This is the one, Trevor. Drew Davis.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
And then Jordan Robles. So those were the guys headed above you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I can talk about Drew because me and him are friends. That's definitely. That kind of made that kind of made the way I look at this a little bit different now. Because if you had the nerve to pick Drew Davis over me, then you might as well have put me in 11th at the MVP race and the Preds not winning 4 games. So that's fine.
Good point.
That's fine.
All right. And then, I don't know, we can probably let Trevor off the hook soon, but you weren't you weren't listed on the over-under total for home runs. And the lowest he had on there was 3.5, and you've already got 2. So that might have just been an oversight.
It was a lot to put together.
Typically I feel like that's fair. I definitely have years where I don't hit that many home runs. I'm kind of more of a contactor, at least I believe myself. So, I've had years before where I've hit a good amount. I think I hit like 8 or 9 in 2020. So, I don't, the home run count has never been something that I've really been worried about. I worry more about my average and my on-base percentage than anything. Because, Bruss and Ward are swinging for the fences just about every time. So, I just like to be on first when one of them hits it over the fence type thing.
All right. Well, let's get into this series. Just one last thing. Anybody who has a Predators World Series ticket in their pocket is very happy. You guys had the longest odds on the board at 30-1. So anybody with that right now would feel really, really excited about possibility.
Right.
In retrospect, it seems so silly to think, like, the way that I'm thinking about it, like, I don't remember why I liked the Magic over the Preds in the preseason. It was just probably the narrative that I stuck into my head about not putting the work in, or not like, just being kind of complacent based on the draft pick. But I think one of the things that I discounted that shouldn't be discounted is the chemistry, and like, you guys have played together for so long and how important that is. And you can see the difference between a team like the Preds and the chemistry that you guys have, and say like a team like the Magic, where there's like kind of a disconnect there. I think, some of the guys spend a lot of time together, but there's a disconnect in their relationship a little bit.
Well,
and so
I think, and Chadwick was actively willing to shop certain players on his team in public. I mean, I can't imagine that's something Ryan would ever do.
No.
What did he say?
on this exact podcast, he mentioned that he would definitely trade Curdy and Bonham for Cheatham.
In a second, he said. I'd do that in a second.
Wow.
Right under the bus. It was before.
Like you guys were saying, even if there were thoughts along that line of a trade with the Predators, which as of right now there isn't, I would never put anybody's name out there like that. God, that's brutal. Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly what both Curdy and Bonham thought in their response when they saw it on Instagram. Jorgensen automatically declined the trade, and then the other 2 players weren't very excited about being involved. Right. But that's what we do on this show. We get people to speak the truth. So it's good TV sometimes. All right, let's do Magic and Preds. Predators, you're 4-2. The Magic 2-4. What's amazing about this is if they get hot and they sweep you, the whole thing gets flip-flopped, right?
Right.
Yeah. What do you got, Trevor?
So I have the Preds at minus 155.
Okay.
Pretty substantial favorite.
Yep.
And I set the total at a little bit lower than we've been going with most of the other totals. I mean, it's clear the Magic just are having a lot of trouble hitting the ball. I mean, they had 2 hits last series. One of them came from Curdy, who they told us, a couple of weeks ago when we talked to them that they were going to be giving Curdy a little bit more playing time, but I don't know how that's all going to work out. Obviously, Ryan's been dominant, and the Magic pitching. Bonham's been a pretty good pitcher as well, so you'd expect it to be a little bit more of a low scoring affair. So I'm going to go 13.5 on the total.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that was something we were talking about earlier in our group chat, is the fact that I think the Magic have scored 3 runs this year total, and they've won 2 games. I mean, believe it or not, that's impressive. Like, that's very impressive numbers from their pitching aspect. So I think that run total is definitely a fair number.
All right. Well, Trevor and I, every preview, we make a couple of bets, at least 2 bets. One of them being the total. I'll just go ahead and I'll take the under, Trevor. I'll take 13.5. I thought you were going to do it a lot lower than that. So $100 on the under. Okay.
Sounds good.
And then the other bet that we do, I haven't been giving enough credit to Joey at MLW Stats for the work he does on the ladder rankings. Every week we do a bet on ladder performance. Can I go first?
Whatever you want. I'm gonna get hosed in this one. I already lose every week anyway. What's the difference?
Well, I mean, the last one of these that recorded, I think you went first and you got the better end of it. So is it cool if I just
yeah,
go?
of course.
Okay,
Of course.
I'll take Ryan. He gets to pitch against the Magic.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty a slam dunk pick. I gotta take Bonham.
Okay.
Just based on pitching.
You guys,
we'll let him hit.
have you guys thought about McGlade for that?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, so I mean if he's gonna throw 2 games, then that helps a lot. Obviously, if he's only pitching the 1, it's kind of hard. I don't know. Probably if we're gonna gamble on this every week, I should probably look into a little bit more about how the ladder's actually done statistically. But from what I've seen, it's hard with just pitching 1 game, not hitting any other games. Right?
I mean, yeah, the only reason I really say that is just because, I mean, the Magic came in the league in 2019 and it's 2022. So they've seen me for 3 years straight, Chadwick. And if Agner's going to be there, I'm not sure. But Chadwick's seen me for a long time. He can, he's got numbers and stuff like that he can relay to his guys. But I mean, none of them have seen McGlade once. And I'm not saying that we'll pitch McGlade twice this series, not by any means. Obviously we're going to stick to I'll start game 1 and McGlade will go game 2. But if they're hitting me around a little bit, then it's definitely a plausible outcome that Steve ends up going 2 games just because he has that advantage over them of them not seeing him.
To your credit, you're not even really the same pitcher that you were in the last.
Oh yeah, no, you're 100% right.
Different
100%
pitches.
right.
So it's like it's they have seen you before, but they haven't seen this version of you. That's what I know that's what they were saying with the Wildcats with like the screwball type pitch that you were throwing. That it's looking like a different pitch, that a different pitcher than they'd seen in the last couple of years.
Right, and that was my goal, 100%, to become that type of guy, because it's only so long that you can pitch to some teams before they start to pick it up. I mean, like you guys have seen me hit off Kyle in my last series. It's no secret that Kyle's definitely one of the best players of MLW all time, if not the best, and one of the best pitchers this league's ever seen. But he's can only do so much when I've seen his pitches, for the past 10 years.
Right. Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the thought that went into obviously not to defend my awful numbers, but that's obviously some of the thoughts that went into the choosing the numbers. Like you've been in the league for a long time. We saw the way that obviously last year didn't go the way that you guys wanted to,
Right.
And then if you just project that out for the next season for nothing to change, and you guys obviously put the work in to make that change. And one of the coolest things that you said in that episode that I wasn't able to be on was about you kind of emulating the upcoming pitcher for your guys to hit off of. You were talking about that a little bit, right? With like,
right,
and stuff like that, and like that that's stuff that I'd had. You obviously you don't know as an outsider just watching the videos or anything, that is something that you were working on, that clearly pays off, and especially with the way
Right.
Russ has played this year, you can see that has worked out well.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I agree.
You want to switch your pick, Trevor? Are you good?
What for? No, I'm looking at the bottom. I'll just go.
Okay. I believe, and I haven't dug deep into the numbers for MLW stats in the ladder, but one, if you don't pitch, you can't win.
Mhm.
And two, if you pitch twice, you have a much better chance of winning than pitching once.
Yeah.
Because that one week I beat you with Kyle Schultz, who didn't have the greatest series over Saylor, but he pitched twice. So
Right.
that's
There
sort
was
of,
that on the first slate, Warda was like fourth or fifth on the ladder, though, even though obviously he didn't pitch or anything, but
Yeah.
I think it was his fielding, and he just was on base like every hit basically.
yeah. Well, that was a huge outlier. And then a few weeks ago when Baranowski didn't bat once and
Yeah.
finished what it was, he third for the whole slate, I think, something like that. So
Mhm.
all right. What else? Ryan, you got anything else you want to tell us? Any inside scoop?
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about just like the preparation that we've been doing for the Magic. So obviously, like, there's a communication between the Predators, between like Warda, Russell, me, and just the whole squad really. And just like some of the stuff we've been talking about, it's we feel it's very important. So like if you guys would watch, like if you watch Bonham throw or if you watch Chadwick throw, like there's tendencies and stuff that people might not realize that we pick up. For example, I'll throw one that's not a Magic player so that they don't know that they're doing it before now. But if you watch Daniel Schultz pitch, Dan's got that knuckle drop that comes out of the sky, and he's got that riser that's touching grass blades, and everything looks so crazy on film, right? But for a person like me, who's seen Daniel for a while, who played with him even, I'm not, I learned things from his body language, stuff like that. So when I watch Dan pitch, when I'm standing in the box, I'm staring right at his lead leg, like his knee, because his knee tips his pitches every single time. For his knuckle drop, if you guys will watch, his knee will go a little bit higher and a little bit further back. He kind of tucks his body in a little bit more. And then as for his riser, his knee doesn't come up as high because he wants to stay low on the plane of the pitch, right? And then, and that stuff carries into Chadwick and Bonham. I haven't seen Bonham as much as I've seen Chadwick, but, at least for Chadwick wise, he could not even be showing me his grips, but I could tell you just about 95% of the time what pitch he's going to throw, just because I know him. I know his pitch selection and I know his sequences. And, with Bonham, Bonham's got that slider and a riser, but I know that when he has trouble controlling that, he's going to come with that overhand fastballish drop looking thing, So, that's kind of the stuff that we've been doing differently this year, the stuff that a lot of guys in the league haven't been doing. For example, last year, Jimmy Knorp he had notes, everything on every single person he faced. It would blow your mind, the stuff that he had written down. And, so he did a mic'd up at bat against me last year, just for example, and he was calling out the pitches that I was throwing as I was throwing them, and there was nothing I could do. He just knew it. And I got into a count where he knew what pitch was coming, and he called out the pitch that I was going to throw and hit it over the fence. And so that's the type of guy that he was last year. That's what made him so, outstanding, is because he was one step ahead of the game. So that's kind of what the Predators are doing now, is like adapting to that, like actual focus, the stuff like, 5-6 years ago, if you told somebody you watched film before a series, they'd think you're weird. Nowadays, if you don't watch film, you're weird, so it's no longer just like, lazy wiffle ball, there's a focus level and stuff that goes into it that you can't really see from the camera, and so for the Magic, there's a lot of things that we've been preparing for. Obviously the Magic aren't a bad team historically. Historically they're not a bad team. They've never missed the playoffs. Well, I've missed the playoffs. They haven't. And so we know that they thrive in the situation where the team they're playing thinks they're too good to care, if that makes sense. So the Predators are treating this series like it's the World Series. We're facing it like we're facing the Wildcats. The same preparation we did 2 weeks ago will apply straight to this series. So, hopefully things work out, and, just a little sneak peek preview-ish type thing. Hopefully if the Predators win game 1 and game 2, you'll see a little Rudy Ramirez and action in the game, something fun, so but yeah, like I was just saying, just the preparation level and everything that goes into this, we won't slack, especially in series like this where you're expected to.
I got two things. One,
Mhm.
I always thought it was cool when the guy standing on second base would try to tip off the bat
Right.
because they could see the grip. But you
Right.
just went like 12 steps beyond that with how the guy's knee moves. That was
Yeah.
fantastic. Second thing, Trevor, I'm pumped and I'd like to lay the juice. Will you accept my bet? And I'll lay the lumber with the Predators.
Oh, I got to see the Magic. Whatever, sure.
Well, you set the line, so
Yeah, of course.
All right. So we're up to 3 bets.
Yeah.
We're on
So Ryan, what do you do on the opposite end of that to dissuade? Like, that people are probably studying what you're doing. What's your defense to that?
Definitely just a timing thing. Like, I hate to say it, but Jimmy Knorp in 2021 is the perfect model to watch. I don't know if you guys have watched me on the mound in that Wildcat series. There's a lot of times where I pick my leg up and kind of Johnny Cueto shake for a second. Or one of the times against Nick Saylor, I quick pitch him, just the stuff that keeps hitters off balance. Because for me, I think wiffle ball, and especially pitching in wiffle ball and baseball, is a timing game, right? So if you have the hitters off timing, then it doesn't matter how nasty your pitches are. As long as you can throw for strikes, you're fine. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, Dan's knuckle drop moves 12 feet. He doesn't need timing. I don't have that pitch, though. I've got good pitches. I've got, I think, above average pitches in MLW, but I don't have anything that I can, not toy around with. So like for that overhand screwball, that two-seam sinkerish, whatever you want to call it, thing that I've been throwing, it's more of a timing thing for me. And, I think the Magic won't ever feel balanced in the box against me. I don't think any of them will ever feel confident. And that's my goal, because we wanted to kill the Magic right now. I mean, obviously the goal is to win all 3 and take them right out of playoff contentions right now and just ruin their hopes. It's great. And I'm not, I don't mean that to sound mean in any way, but that's the goal, right? Is to move on. So, for my side of it, I try and watch my own film as if I was trying to hit off of myself, and I'll have McGlade do it and, other guys on the team, because, that's just, it helps me. And I realize like what tendencies and what things I start to fall into, and I completely wipe it. I threw one slider the whole Wildcat series entirely. It was the Jackson Pearson, and it wasn't a final pitch of the at bat. It was one you guys wouldn't have seen in the video, and he hit it probably 150 feet, but it was foul. And that was the only time where I feel that the Wildcats were actually in their box, with me,
Mhm.
Obviously Nick Saylor had a few hits. One of them he really cranked off the wall in Toledo, but just the timing thing. I think that's the first time, at least for me, that I've allowed Kyle to have 0 hits. And it probably the first time in his career where he's had 1 hit in an entire series. That's not Kyle. But because it wasn't Kyle, but because we changed his timing. We played our game and he had to adapt to it. We're not playing other teams' games anymore. That's not how we do it. So that's what we've switched up for sure.
I got another question actually about that Sailor hit that he had. So it's a tough situation as a league that is an entertainment league, but also as a competition thing. Like, as a competitor, you want to strike him out there, but as like an entertainment thing, for him to hit a home run in that situation would be like a pretty big event, right? So
Right.
like that's like got to be a tough. Obviously, like you're never just gonna throw a meatball up there intentionally.
No, yeah, no, 100%. There's always that in the back of the head, right? Especially for Kyle. I remember, and this is kind of something you wouldn't see on video, but when Brennan hit that grand slam, me and Russ were walking out to the field after that half inning, And, Kyle looks, pretty pissed off, as he should be, because he gave up a grand slam. And he looks at us and he just goes, it's good content. And then he just steps in the box and gets ready to hit. So, at the end of the day, yeah, you want some cool stuff to happen, sometimes like just the extra bat flip, or you guys watch me do it, just the extra bat flip, just the stuff that people want to see. We add that little flair on when we can, but at the end of the day, I want to win the World Series. If they want to give up home runs for video, that's fine, but I want to win the World Series and I want to be the MVP,
Yep.
What's
Love
cooler
it.
than MLW? You had commented that Kyle only had one hit in that series.
Mhm.
You do realize every player on the Magic right now would sign up for one hit in this coming.
Yeah, I obviously it's no secret that the Magic are batting like 111 or something as a team right now. That's not that doesn't go past my head. But like I was saying, if I give into that, then they will hit the ball. I've seen Bonham hit, I think, 4 home runs in one series against good pitching. So, I'm not going to go easy on them. I'm going to give it everything I gave the Wildcats and more if I can.
Well, I would appreciate that because I just laid the lumber with you guys and took the under. So,
Right.
oh, and as I'm sure you saw in the episode a couple weeks ago, Trevor and I did a slate draft. We each drafted, what did we do, Trevor? 4 players each?
Yep.
So
I
I
think
currently
that's
have a
good.
lot of Ryan Kracht stock in my portfolio from
Good.
both.
Good.
So I'm
Good.
counting on you.
Yeah. I will do my best not to disappoint.
Okay. I appreciate that. All right. I think I covered everything I had written down. Trevor, you got anything else?
Nope.
Ryan,
That's
you
good.
got any crap talk you want to drop before we go?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Chadwick, we talked to Chadwick recently. He is really down in the dumps. Doesn't
I mean,
he doesn't
that's a
remember how
hard,
to play.
yeah, it's a hard thing to come back from.
I
Yeah.
think he mentioned in the episode that he was going to make sure he had some popcorn for when the All-Star game was going to be played, since he'll be sitting in the stands watching. So,
Yikes. Right.
all right, that's the preview for Week 11. We are into the second half of the season, and this was a good one. Ryan, you brought some excellent inside information. Appreciate you joining us again, everybody. The link is below. Buy Ryan's jersey.
That's what I like to see.
Yeah, there it is. All right. Take it easy and good gambling, everybody.